Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Zahra al-Jabri, and this is the spiritual lessons from Harry Potter. All right, let us begin, Muggles. So I have just realized throughout this whole series, I've never introduced myself, so allow me to do that. I am a spiritual coach, and I support Muslims who are ambitious and driven and hardworking and know that they were created for more than whatever it is that they're experiencing. They believe that they can achieve it and have it, and they want to break through whatever resistance there is from allowing them to get it. So I support Muslims in changing their mindset and their heart set in order so that they can allow more of Allah's peace, love, abundance to come into their life, surrendering, trusting, believing, making, stronger dua, deepening their faith, all of those things. That is what I do. And I do that in a lot of different ways. So I'm also an author. I have Islamic Devotionals that are short, powerful reminders that support you to shift the way that you hear Allah in your head so that you will feel Him supporting you. You read one each morning and it sets you up for a great day. So those are called Islamic Devotionals. You can find all of these things that I'm going to mention in my link in bio. I also have written a book with my husband called Before I Do, 150 plus questions that Muslims must ask before marriage. And this is really more than a book. It's a guide to the courtship process that is basically akin to having me as your coach you through like how to think about marriage, how to self-assess what it is that you want. Then once you've met someone, how to engage in deep, meaningful conversations so that you are actually determining if you guys are compatible. And if you're not compatible, being able to quickly walk away and not stay stuck in a situation for months or years that is going nowhere. And then if you are compatible, to really build that level of trust and support and deep connection that's going to support you to have a strong foundation for your marriage, and so that you can just have an amazing, miraculous marriage in the line of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Khadija radiallahu anha. What else do I have for you guys? I have affirmations. So the book you can purchase, again, link in bio. I have Islamic Affirmations, which we know in Islam, dhikr, reminders, right? What we're affirming, the truth, La ilaha illallah is the most powerful affirmation. And all of the dhikr that we make are powerful affirmations. But if we have trouble connecting to the Arabic or really feeling what, those words mean and their implication, having simple, clear English affirmations can really support you to repeat and say so that, all of the dhikr that you make has more weight. So I have Islamic Affirmations as digital prints that, again, you can purchase on my website, link in bio, everywhere. And then, of course, I have my coaching programs that are focused on supporting you to have more faith to achieve what it is that you want. If that's marriage, I have a Keys to Love coaching program. If that is career and, wealth success, my husband has a Boundless Success program. If that is just really kind of breaking free of the matrix, understanding your divine purpose, knowing what you're here for, that's my premier coaching program called Limitless Love. And if you want a bite-sized introduction to all of that, I've got a mini course that gives you that kind of bite-size but really powerful punch into all of that. And I've got tons and tons of free resources. I've been on over a dozen podcasts. I have a blog. I have all my Instagram posts that you can sign up for my newsletter that support you to, again, deepen your faith, feel God's support and love, shift the way you think, shift the way you feel, and basically because we know Allah is, or Allah tells us in a Hadith Qudsi, I am as my servant expects me to be. So if you expect that Allah, He's not, I don't know if I deserve this. Allah's not going to answer my prayer. This is too big. Let me only ask for this. Am I being greedy? I should just be grateful for what I have. If you expect that you're not going to get, you're not going to get. And if you expect that Allah will answer and you can have all the things that you dream of, inshallah, you will receive. And again, you have to open yourself up to receptivity. And because of that, all of my work is centered around expecting more good from Allah. So anyways, that's a bit of background on me. If you made it, we're on episode 8. So if you didn't know who I am, that's who I am. Hi. And now on to episode 8. We are in Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone, which is book 1. And we are in the climax of the book, chapters 15 and 16 is what we're going to do today. And the way that this kind of relates is that all around us is guidance, is support, is signs, is, help for us to live out our purpose, be at peace, receive love, receive abundance. And this book is one of those signs. Anything can be rizq from Allah. And I feel like this series was a rizq for me. And if you're following along here, I'm imagining that it's a rizq for you, that it's providing you with entertainment, with, and lessons. And so what we're doing here is going through the lessons and pulling them out, because as my Instagram handle suggests, practical Muslim, the whole point of why I started all of this was like, what do I do in real life? What do I do in my day to day? How do I live when, my boss is annoying me, or I'm, upset with my family members, or I keep facing the same issue over and over. The guy ghosted me again. What do I do? How do I operate? How do I live? And the best way to understand that is through stories that are going to help you relate, make connections in your mind, so you will know, how do I move forward? What do I actually do? And taking Islam out from just being a theoretical thing that we know. Okay, I know about the hadiths, and I know about the prophets, and I know about the Quran, which is all great. I'm not discounting it. But if it's just theory in your head, I believe this, I believe in angels, I believe in this, but then in your life you're just struggling and you don't know what to do, you're arguing with people, you're broke, you're broken, you're depressed, then all of this knowledge, all of this guidance, all of this wisdom that Allah has shared with you in all these different forms is of no use to you. It's not actually helping you, because the whole point that Allah is revealing all of this is so that you can have a better life, that you can navigate this world with greater ease, that the world is not going to weigh you down and depress you and deplete you and right? That you are going to be a strong, empowered believer, like being a leader in this world. And so that's what this practical Muslim, that's what I'm all about. And so that's what we're doing in this series, is using this book to help us do that. And we're in the climax of the book, as I just said, where we're going to get a lot of juicy lessons. So, chapter 15, the Forbidden Forest. So, Harry and Hermione have gotten detention for being out very late in the castle, and so has Malfoy and Neville. So their detention is to go to the Forbidden Forest with Hagrid, and there is a wounded unicorn that they are searching for to see if it's wounded and they can help it, or if it's deceased. And this is the second dead unicorn that Hagrid has found, and he wants to understand what's going on in the Forbidden Forest, because it's very hard to catch and kill a unicorn, and it's very unusual that this has happened. All right. So, yes, Harry, Neville, and Hermione get detention, and Professor McGonagall makes them all lose 50 points each from Gryffindor's house points because of this, because they're out late at night. And it's 150 points, a significant amount of points. What's their house again? Gryffindor. Gryffindor was in the lead with house points, and now they're going to be at the end, and Slytherin will take the lead. And so it's very disappointing for Gryffindor, because Slytherin has won the house points the last 7 years, and also all the other houses the Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff are also annoyed because they wanted another house to win and not be Slytherin again. So after this happens, right, Hermione and Harry are basically kind of shunned, right? Like Harry had been like, the celebrity, not only because he was Harry, but because he'd won the last 2 Quidditch matches and he had helped put them in the lead. And now they're like, okay, what happened? The whole school woke up and Gryffindor's at the in the bottom. What did you guys do? And no one wants to talk to them. No one wants to associate with them. They're snickering behind their backs. They're annoyed at them, and they just feel ashamed and bad for making this mistake. And so the thing I'm just alluding to here is, right, like, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all, do something that we're going to regret later. We all feel ashamed. We all have that experience. And when that happens, right, if you don't listen to Brene Brown, I think I mentioned this before, she talks a lot about shame, but how can you disassociate from, okay, I made a mistake, to like, I am a mistake and I am a failure, right? Like, separate the action from you as the actor. And so just for us to note and point out, like, there is a difference, that you can have made a mistake and you don't have to associate yourself as, I am a mistake, I'm a failure, I'm so bad, beat yourself up about it. And that is really important, because otherwise all of our mistakes are going to weigh on us for a long time, right? So that's why we're also commanded to seek forgiveness, because we need to emotionally release that feeling of guilt and shame within us. Okay. And because of this, Harry says that he's no longer going to meddle or interfere in things that are not his business. So he's focused on his school and his studies. But one day when he's walking here, I will read it to you. Harry's new resolution not to interfere with anything that didn't concern him was put to an unexpected test. Walking back from the library on his own one afternoon, he heard somebody whimpering from a classroom up ahead. As he drew closer, he heard Quirrell's voice. No, not again, please. It sounded as though someone was threatening him. Harry moved closer. Okay, so it happens to us, right, that we're like, this is none of my business. This is none of my concern. But then things come into our consciousness. Things come into us like, here, he wasn't trying to investigate or sneak around or look at what's happening, but this encounter was taking place within his earshot, so we couldn't help but hear. And we're gonna see him. He tells Hermione and Ron about it, and Ron's like, okay, let's go investigate. And Harry's like, no, I've done enough meddling. I'm not gonna meddle anymore. Like, we're not gonna be poking around. We're gonna leave this alone. And what I just want to point out here is that sometimes things will come into our consciousness, and I'm going to specifically use the example of relationships, because sometimes you'll find out something about someone and it'll be information that maybe you're not supposed to know, right? Like, how did I hear this? How do I know this? And because it's information that you're not supposed to know, right? Just like Harry, you're like, okay, I'm not going to poke around. I'm not going to meddle. I'm going to ignore this. Like, I don't want to get into it. We pretend like that, we pretend, right? We're not meddling, so we're pretending. But when it comes to relationships, right? If you're talking to someone and you find out, someone sends you some screenshot, or you've seen something here, or you overhear, whatever. There is a difference between, not interfering and not meddling with things, and kind of burying your head in the sand. And so if something comes into your consciousness, that was meant for you to hear or know or, see. And so don't ignore it, and allow yourself to investigate what that is pointing to, especially when it comes to relationships, right? This is how a lot of people miss red flags, is because like, well, I wasn't really supposed to know that. It doesn't matter that you weren't supposed to know it. You know it. And so now you need to like use that information and act upon it, right? Like, you can't let yourself be be swindled or put your head in the sand because now you know it, or you wish it wasn't true, or you want to believe something different, or you want to think that that's something from the past that has nothing to do with now, or I don't need to bring it up. They're going to get mad at me for how do I know, and all of that nonsense. You know it, so you need to address it. Okay? The other thing about that instance is that when Harry tells Ron and Hermione what he's heard, that he heard, Quirrell saying that, and he believes that he was talking to Snape and Snape was threatening him, that Hermione says, go to Dumbledore. That's what we should have done ages ago, right? If we, I'm going to read you this part too. Go to Dumbledore. That's what we should have done ages ago. If we try anything ourselves, we'll be thrown out for sure. But we've got no proof, said Harry. Quirrell's too scared to back us up. Snape's only got to say he doesn't know how the troll got in at Halloween and that he was nowhere near the third floor. Who do you think they'll believe? Him or us? It's not exactly a secret. We hate him. Dumbledore think we made it up to get him sacked. Flitch wouldn't help us if his life depended on it. He's too friendly with Snape, and the more students get thrown out, the better, he'll think. And don't forget, we're not supposed to know about the stone or Fluffy. That'll take a lot of explaining. Hermione looked convinced, but Ron didn't. And so here, right, the simplest, most straightforward, direct thing to do is go and tell Dumbledore. And if you've read the series, you know that, Dumbledore would have believed them and, most likely would have believed them, and things would have unfolded in a very different way. But, right, Harry's little thing, what he said, we have no proof, no one's going to believe it, blah, 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 is what happens to many of us when we, when the simplest, most direct approach comes up in our minds. Let me just ask them about this thing I saw or overheard. Or let me just tell them, no, I can't. I wasn't supposed to know, blah, blah, blah. We get into this whole story, and instead of doing the most simple thing, we go about some roundabout way, which, right, spoiler alert, always makes it more complicated. And so the lesson here is for yourself, for in your own life, what is the simplest solution? What is the easiest way? What is the most direct approach? And then no matter what your mind tells you about why it can't work or why it's not easy or why it won't be possible or all of those things, to shut it down and believe, I can approach this in the most simple, direct way, and that it's going to be the best, and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. You guys feel me? I hope you feel me, because that's a powerful lesson. When I read that, I was thinking of something that had recently happened to me, and I was like, oh, I know. I need to go back and do the most simple, direct approach, because this roundabout idea I had in my mind is a roundabout idea. All right. And then this is when they find out that they've got detention, or they get their notes that they're going to serve their detention that evening. And it says, Harry had forgotten they still had detentions to do in the furor over the points they'd lost. He half expected Hermione to complain that this was a whole night of studying lost. But she didn't say a word. Like Harry, she felt they deserved what they got. At this point, I just want to underscore how easy it is for us to believe, to feel, to accept punishment. How we just feel like, yeah, I deserve that. I deserve, people not talking to me. I deserve Allah not answering my dua. I deserve not getting this thing that I want. I deserve to be punished. That for many of us, that we can accept that. We can accept that this is not going to work for me. This is going to be bad. I'm going to be punished. And, right, for the mistake I did, this is what I deserve. And yet on the opposite side, when good comes to us, when, things just flow to us, someone is kind to us, we won something, someone offered us something, that we can feel unworthy and undeserving so quickly and so easily that oh no, it's hard for us to accept. It's harder for us to believe. We'll believe, yes, I deserve that punishment. Oh, I don't really deserve this good. No, I don't deserve for you to pay for my meal or give me that thing or take care of me or, carry my stuff for me. I don't deserve that. I can do it myself, right? And just allow ourselves to appreciate, well, if you always are believing you deserve the punishment, why can't you believe you deserve rewards, gifts, blessings, ease, comfort, relaxation, luxury. Why not? Because Allah wishes for us ease, right? So think about that. Oh, my husband's hyping me up. You're like, okay. Now, let's keep going. All right, in chapter... So then they go into the Forbidden Forest. They're looking for the unicorn. They have to split up. These two chapters are super fun reads. So again, if you haven't read the books, read the books. They're so fun. They're so, like, I'm pulling out the spiritual lessons, but the books are like a joy and an entertainment to read. So read them, enjoy yourself, relax, take it somewhere and just like get immersed in the story and forget about the lessons, and then come back and watch these videos and get the lessons, but just enjoy the story. It's so fun. And so they meet centaurs who tell them about the future. Centaurs are half human, half horse creatures, and they are stargazers who are reading the stars and like kind of doing fortune telling kind of a thing. But they have like an oath that they're not supposed to share what they read or that they discover. And so there is an argument between some of the centaurs because one centaur wants to help Harry and get him out of the forest because he's in danger, because Voldemort is the one killing the unicorns and living off of the unicorn blood, because if you drink unicorn blood, you will have a half-life. You will be able to stay alive even if you're an inch from death. And so the centaur is explaining this to him, like he can stay alive drinking this unicorn blood until he gets to the Sorcerer's Stone, which will keep him alive forever, right? So that's the plan, is to use this temporary fix till I can have a more permanent solution. And within there is already a lesson, right? Sometimes we often do that. We are looking for a temporary fix until we can have a more permanent solution. But sometimes that temporary fix is shady, is questionable, is very risky, and we would do better to really focus on the more permanent solution than getting entrapped in this temporary fix that may or may not actually lead to the permanent solution, which is what happens to Voldemort. Okay. And so in the argument between the centaurs, the one that wants to help Harry is like, you know, there is a dangerous threat to us here. And if that means, you know, that I have to align myself with humans, I'm going to do that, right? The centaurs are particularly upset because he puts Harry on his back, and they're like, we are not common mules. Like we don't just carry people on our back. We're not horses like that. Like we are, you know, dignified creatures. We are centaurs. And so this centaur, what's his name? I should know his name. Ferenzi is like, no, I'm going to, you know, I'm putting aside all of those things, the formalities, the dignities, and all of those things for the common good, right? We need to protect Harry. This is a war. If we allow this to happen, it's very bad, and we can take action. We can do something here. We don't have to just sit aside and just be like, oh no, we're not going to interfere. We don't have to be neutral. We don't have to be, pretend we're Switzerland. We can get involved and we can support people. And so that's what they're doing. And that lesson there is, you know, sometimes also we do that, right? Oh no, it's not my place. It's not my business. I'm not involved in this, you know, family dispute or friend dispute, and I'm just going to stay out of it. When if you have a clearer, more level head, and that you could support someone, or that you can be a voice of reason, that you can, it's up to your personal judgment, but that you are a powerful actor. You are a powerful actor, and you can influence outcomes. So allow yourself to do that. And so basically, at the end of this chapter, Harry realizes, right, that Voldemort is here, and if he gets the stone, he is going to return to power, and that this is very, very bad. And in that encounter, when Voldemort comes and begins drinking the unicorn's blood, Harry's scar begins burning intensely, and so he can feel like, the curse and the power and the badness of what's going on. Okay. All right. So then we get to chapter 16, and this chapter is called Through the Trapdoor. And so they're still going through their, exams. They're trying not to worry about this so much. They feel some comfort to know that Dumbledore is there. And everyone has said, that Voldemort is scared of Dumbledore, so they know that they feel safe. As long as Dumbledore's there, they feel safe. And then Harry, his scar is still burning him. And he says, Harry was rubbing his forehead. I wish I knew what this means, he burst out angrily. My scar keeps hurting. It's happened before, but never as often as this. Go to Madame Pomfrey, Hermione suggests. I'm not ill, said Harry. I think it's a warning. It means danger's coming. And here, we sometimes get those feelings, right? We get this feeling something is off, something is not right, something is unsettling, something bad's going to happen. And those feelings, right, especially if we are allowing ourselves to have space and quiet and moments of clear-headedness, when we get those feelings, we may be able to feel and trust that, like, this is an indication of something, right? It's not just me being anxious or, overthinking things or whatever. Like, this is an indication of something. Like, this is pointing me towards something. And so Harry is very clearly feeling like this is pointing me towards something. It feels like there's danger here. And that feeling kind of gets him thinking, and he makes a connection between Hagrid getting the dragon's egg, and how he got it. And so they rush over to Hagrid's place, and they discover that how Hagrid got the dragon's egg was, through winning a game with a stranger, and that in doing so, he had told the stranger how to get past Fluffy, the three-headed dog, that all you have to do is play some music and the dog will fall right asleep. And then they realized, oh my goodness, right? Like, this person knows how to get past the first defense that is protecting the stone. And then they're like, okay, you know what? We got to go tell Dumbledore. We've got to go tell Dumbledore. So they're on their way to tell Dumbledore. Finally, right? They're finally going to do the most direct, straightforward thing. We're going to tell Dumbledore. And they run into Professor McGonagall on the way. And she's like, where are you guys going? And they tell her, we're going to see Professor Dumbledore. And she's like, okay, like, what do you need to see him for? They're like, it's important. It's about the stone. It's about the stone, right? And Professor McGonagall is like shocked. How do you know that? Like, okay, well, he's not here. He's gone to the Ministry of Magic. He got an urgent owl and he's gone. And they're like, oh my God, Dumbledore's not here. Like, oh crap. Like, he was the only one that everyone said can defend us, and now he's not here. So they realize, like, this is a serious problem. And that Dumbledore will be back tomorrow. Right. And Professor McGonagall is like, don't worry, there's lots of protections around the stone, so you don't need to worry about this. Like, and you guys are just, 3 first-year students. Like, what are you guys going to do? And Dumbledore will be back tomorrow. And so the 3 of them, are convinced that someone has called Dumbledore away, and that tonight they are going to go and get the stone. And so now they have to go and get the stone before this person does. And Harry is the most impassioned, of this, right? Because he can feel the pain in his scar, and he is and he's had the most encounters of like all of the little tidbits leading up to this. So he feels, you know what, like we have to get, if Lord Voldemort gets his hand on this stone, he will come back to power, and that'll be it, right? And Hermione's telling him, like, we can't go, we're going to be expelled. Like, McGonagall is already, like, you know, she's seen us twice, and she's like, no, like, stop, you guys. And I'm going to read you this part. So Harry says, I'm going to get out of here tonight, and I'm going to go and try to get that stone first. You're mad, said Ron. You can't, said Hermione. After what McGonagall and Snape have said, you'll be expelled. So what? Harry shouted. Don't you understand? If Snape gets a hold of that stone, Voldemort's coming back. Haven't you heard what it was like when he was trying to take over? There won't be any Hogwarts to get expelled from. He'll flatten it or turn it into a school for the dark arts. Losing points doesn't matter anymore. Can't you see? Do you think he'll leave you and your families alone if Gryffindor wins the House Cup? If I get caught before I can get the stone, well, I'll have to go back to the Dursleys and wait for Voldemort to find me there. It's only dying a bit later than I would have, because I'm never going over to the dark side. I'm going through that trapdoor tonight, and nothing you two say is going to stop me. Voldemort killed my parents, remember? And here, I'm just want us to appreciate, right, like the bigger picture, right? Hermione is like, oh my gosh, we're going to get expelled. And Ron's like, this is really dangerous. And Harry is saying, like, the implications around this are larger, right? There are larger implications of this. To Harry, it almost is a non-option. Like, we cannot just let him get it, right? If we know it's going to happen, we cannot just let it happen. And I just want us to reflect on that, because a lot of times it's very easy for us to be like Ron and Hermione. I mean, the world trains us. We're trained and taught to be that way. Oh no, you can't say anything at your job about, you know, what you observed or saw, like you might get fired. Well, if I let this continue, my whole office workplace is going to be a toxic environment, and our company's going to get shut down or something, right? Like, it's going to all crumble because they're engaged in fraud. Like, you know, I'm using a severe example, but you see that, like, people know that fraud or misconduct or whatever is going on in their place, but like, oh, I don't want to get fired. Oh no, we might get in trouble. Oh no. Well, what is the point if, like, when it all comes crashing down, there will be no job anyways. There will be nothing. So you might as well do the right thing now. And we are trained. We are so trained to stay in our role and stay in our position, and I don't know, hope that everything will work out. And just, I mean, this is how evil spreads and prospers, right? Because they get you stuck in the little nook and cranny and feeding you crumbs. And you're so scared to step out of line that you're not going to stand up and challenge and change everything for the better, right? I'm using this workplace example. If you are a whistleblower and let everyone know, you could change the whole workplace or get them shut down or whatever for the better. Okay. All right. So they decide to go. This is the exciting part of the book. They decide to go, right? And Neville stands up to them. He's like, no, you guys can't go out again. Like, and they have to put a full binding curse on him, and they feel so bad about it. And they go and they get to the corridor where the stone is being protected, and they realize the door's open. So they're like, oh crap, right? It is going down. The door is already open. They get inside, and the dog is already half sleeping. There's a harp there, so they start playing the music. He goes back to sleep, and Harry and Ron and Hermione go through the trapdoor that's under him. Okay, so they've gotten past the first obstacle. And basically what happens, right, is that there are 7 obstacles that they have to go through. So first is the dog. Then next is, I wrote it down here, so next is the Devil Snare, which is a plant that begins to kind of encircle them. And Hermione remembers from herbology class how to defeat it is to light a fire. So they light a fire, they defeat it. Then they go into the next room, and there are flying keys. And they realize they need to figure out which one is the right key, grab it, and put it into the door to be able to go to the next room. And of course, Harry is so good at Quidditch and catching the snitch that he catches the key and puts it through the door. Then next is a live chess game where they have to take the place of different chess pieces and win a game of chess so that they can move through and go through the next door. And Ron is really good at wizarding chess. When they get through that door, they discover a troll, but the troll has already been knocked out by the person who went through it before. So they don't have to fight the troll. They can just walk through. Then they get to the next door, which is a set of potions. One potion will allow them to go forward. One potion will allow them to go back. There's 7 potions on the table, and it's a riddle, a logic quiz a logic test to understand, to figure out which potion is which. And 3 potions are poison, right? Which potion is which? And Hermione, obviously brilliant, figures out the logic around it and is like, well, this potion will make us go forward and this one will make us go back. And Hermione takes the potion to go back and help Ron, who got knocked out in the chess game, and Harry takes the potion to go forward. So I just kind of skimmed over all of those things. But what is the lesson? The lesson is here. They had an objective. They need to get through to get to the Sorcerer's Stone, right? And to get through the Sorcerer's Stone, they encounter these 7 different obstacles. And we actually haven't gotten to the 7th one. The last obstacle is the next chapter. So that'll be in the next episode. But they have to go through these 7 obstacles. And that's us. That's us moving through life. We have some objective, right? We want to get this job. We want to get married. We want to, discover our purpose, build this thing, create this company, start an orphanage, build a charity, learn Quran, whatever it is. We are going to face challenges and obstacles. And we don't know what is going to come next. We don't know what new setback is going to come and or thing that we're going to have to overcome. However, we don't need to know. We don't need to know. And we can trust that we are fully equipped to get past all of them. And what we find in this is that they are fully equipped, right? Hagrid told them the secret to the first one. Hermione was there, who knew how to defeat the Devil Snare with the spell from paying attention in herbology. The flying keys, Harry knew already how to fly and catch a small shining object. Chess, Ron was already good at chess. Like, the support, the things that you need to overcome these obstacles will already be in place within you and your life to overcome them. There was nothing that they encountered that they were not prepared for, right? The troll was already knocked out by someone else. So you may get outside help from an obstacle that you don't even need to face it yourself, that Allah's already cleared that one for you. The potions, Hermione again was, good at logic to be able to figure it out. Everything you need to overcome the obstacles in your way to your destination. Are you guys feeling me? Okay, see some hearts. I love it. Are you feeling me? Everything you need to overcome the obstacles is already in your life. Already. It's there, right? That's the ayah. Allah will not burden a soul with more than they can bear. You already have the knowledge, the tools, the support, the help, the skills, the talent, the friends, the resources. It's already in your life. So whatever it is that you're facing, that you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to catch the key. Well, you have a friend who can help you. Or it's already there. It's already within you. It's already around you. It's already surrounding you. So if you feel like you personally don't know how to tackle this, look around in your network or in your life. What else is there to support you to get through it, right? So they have all of these obstacles and they have everything they need to get through them. And the other piece about this is because they're so focused on their goal, we've got to get to the stone, that what? They just keep moving forward. They don't like, oh my God, okay, we got through, we knew about Fluffy, but we didn't know about this Devil Snare that's in Snare. Oh my gosh, why is this happening? They're not lamenting and brooding and overanalyzing and thinking, how come it's like this? Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. They're just like, okay, what's the solution to this? How do I get out of it? All right, move forward. Next thing. Okay, what's the solution to this? How do I get out of it? Okay, next thing. They're not just lamenting and overthinking and why is me? How come it's keys now that I have to fly around and get? Oh my God. All the whining and complaining that we do, right? I'm over dramatizing it, but that just slows us down, right? That just slows us down. We have what we need to overcome. So just keep moving forward. And a shout out to my best friend, Sarah, who's always telling me this. She's like, just keep moving forward, right? Some of us get trapped. You might be in therapy. You might be reading up on therapy stuff on Instagram on your own. Like, oh, it's because I'm an anxious attachment style. Or, oh, it's because my parents did this. Oh, it's because I'm a people pleaser. Oh, it's because of this. And we get so trapped in this is why the way I am. And that's why blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Keep moving forward. Don't let we all have trauma. We all have issues. Get the support, get the help that you need. But then realize you are equipped to keep moving forward, keep progressing. Don't dwell in trying to understand and know all of the things that happened and why it happened and whatever. Just know that you can overcome it. All right. That's a big lesson. There were two really big lessons here, and a lot of other really juicy ones. And again, these are the most exciting chapters of the book. So I hope you will read it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave your comments. And if you want to be a part of the Instagram group where we discuss it more, leave a comment below. Otherwise, I will see you next time for the next episode. Again, I am Zahra Al-Jabri, and it is my pleasure to share with you all the lessons from Harry Potter because there's so many and I love it so much and it's so helpful to our lives. Okay? You guys got this. We can move forward. Facing any obstacle or challenge, we got. Assalamu alaikum.